It's like
Doc Vinably donated $200. If my daughter did of, that means I failed her as a father. She would do of only if I am dead or in jail. Your fathers are morally weak men.
They are morally weak men.
I guess, could I ask you, who do you think is the example?
Well, I mean, you can say you, but he's right. Look, the chatter's right.
Can I ask you a question?
Hang on, let me finish my point. I'm going to tell you, right? You do have to be a morally weak man if they know. Like in your case, maybe not, because your dad doesn't know. Okay, but a lot of people that I've talked to here, their dads do know, and they're just
right, but we're adults.
My dad doesn't like it.
We're adults. We're able to make our own decisions.
My dad doesn't like it.
Just let me finish the point. I'm almost done. Okay. Yeah, I think that that's a moral weakness to say, I will enable you. I will enable you to do this threshold-breaking thing, especially from a Christian perspective. It's insane. I don't know why anybody would do it. I would say, listen.
You know why? Because real Christians love everyone.
So then why not just make everything permissible?
I love the fact that you're like, I'll disown my daughter. That's not.
So everything's permissible.
I didn't think
there's a difference between
deleting someone is not permissible.
No. Okay, but all social behaviors, all everything, Christians must permit that.
Who's the example in Christianity for
Answer
parenting?
the question.
Ask him that. Who in Christianity?
I didn't even get an answer to my question.
Given her answer, I'm asking you the question. Is all forms of social behavior something which are supposed to be permissible to Christians?
I don't think it should be permissible. I think that you should love no matter what.
So then if it's not permissible, then I'm not giving permission, which means I'm not endorsing it, which means I'm not allowing it, which means I'm totally against it.
But if your kid is an adult, why do you have to allow them to do something?
What do you? I'm not allowing them to.
He would disown.
He would disown.
The question I have for you.
What are you talking about?
Who in Christianity is the example for parenting? Who is it?
You mean in which context? Which saints are you talking about?
What?
I'm talking about
There's saints which you can look to as examples in parenting.
Who do you look to as the example for parenting?
As the example inside of Christianity? Of course I look at Jesus.
One sec.
Honestly, Nala has a special brand of daddy issues. Every girl has a craving for attention. If she doesn't get it from her dad, she will get by being a thought.
So
here, I need to
look at Jesus Christ.
Do you want to answer? But like, I do want to. I have so many notes I have to get through. So go ahead. It sounded like you wanted to say something. So
I feel like a lot of people think that because of what I do, I have daddy issues or mommy issues or whatever the it is. But it's honestly, it's a self-made choice. I didn't go to my dad and be like, should I do this? And he just gave me like all this advice to do it. I came to them, told them, because I wanted to be honest with my parents. They have that reason, they have that decision to make with their kid if they do something like this. You know what I mean? Like whether they want to be in your life or not. I think it's bad parenting if you don't want to be in your kid's life, no matter what they do. I'm not saying if they like delete someone, that's a great, I don't know. I feel like the line is just too broad here.
So let me ask you this. Can you make the judgment and the value-added judgment on what's bad parenting? I have children. Do you have any?
No.
Okay. And then on top of it, from your parents' perspective, you turned out to go off and do OnlyFans and like show your butthole online for money. How's that great parenting? How could you come to me and say what a great parent should do is
I
this?
Just think it's
You're the
funny
perfect
that
example of everything that nobody should listen to for great parenting.
Is Christ a terrible parent because like so many of his sons and daughters commit sin? You said Jesus is your example for parenting. Who did Jesus dine with?
This is a hilarious
Who did he dine
argument.
with?
Of course he died for everybody.
No, who did he dine with?
Like eat.
Dine. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Who did he dine with?
In which context? Like his apostles
Matthew,
or when?
in the Gospels. Who did he dine with?
He would dine with everybody. He dined with sinners. He would dine with saints.
Who did he call godless fools and rejected outright?
Okay, just stop.
Who?
Just get to your point.
You should know this.
Well, it's fine if you don't know
should I?
The people he called godless fools was Pharisees, the leaders of the religion.
Okay.
Whereas in the cases of women who were adulterers, tax collectors,
the ones he told
lepers,
to sin no more?
He told them to sin no more, but he still dined with them.
And he told them to sin no more. He said, go and sin no more.
But disowning is not the same thing as saying sin no more.
Disowning until a behavior is modified.
No.
That's behavior modification.
No, it's not.
How do you?
There's a million ways to not. Hold on.
Finish.
There's a million ways to condone an action. How do you even reconcile the prodigal son when the father, as the son walks home, says, "You've been my son the whole time." He never removed it. The son left, and the father allowed him to live out the consequences of that. But the father didn't disown him.
First of all,
the father didn't send him away. And when he came back, he threw him a massive party.
Yes, the parable.
prodigal child.
The parable of prodigal son. But here's the thing: when you're looking at what happened in the results of the prodigal son. The father did not go where the son was committing all these heinous acts.
We're not saying
stop.
We're not saying you should start an OnlyFans. That's what we're saying. We're not saying join OnlyFans. We're saying you don't disown your child.
You're all spurging. Calm down. Let me finish my point. Okay. Dad didn't go where he was. Dad wasn't going and trying to pull him back. He wasn't doing any of this. He was saying, I don't endorse what it is that you're doing, what you're going after. Yes, he did say that. He told him it was a bad idea to leave.
That's a very big difference between saying
he
that
told him it was a bad idea. Now, he
everywhere.
left anyway after breaking the fortune, and then when he came back humble with his tail between his legs, crying his eyes out, did his father say, You've now returned to me, the prodigal son, and now all is forgiven.
You have always is the key word here. You've always been
They're
my
still
son.
always your kid.
Not if you disown them.
That doesn't mean that you have
Not if you
to.
disown them.
That doesn't mean you have to
The difference
enable
is,
it.
in the cases that did he not go with them to go and slut it up with whores and blow money on crack? No, he didn't. But she's not saying, hey Dad, come do OnlyFans with me. You should
My
start
dad
it
is
with
nowhere
me.
in my life.
Yeah, but my point
Physically.
is that again, when he came back humble, when he came back correct, when he came back from doing the horrible things that he was doing, then Dad said, yes, welcome back in. You were always my son. Of course, I never stopped loving you. But he was not endorsing all the
At
things
no
that
point
the kid...
was he disowned, though.
Let me finish. He was not endorsing all the things the kid was doing. He was not going out of his way to make sure that the kid had additional money to continue sinning where he was at. He wasn't doing any of that.
I'm not saying any of these things. The issue is that if Christ is the example for parenting and he loves you every single step of the way,
He's not the only
disowning your child is the opposite of that thing. Now, I am fine with parents getting to decide if they don't want to support that. They tell them explicitly. I would be fine with a relationship. My parents are Christian, my brother's gay. I'm fine with them regularly being
Can the Catholic Church excommunicate people?
Yes, but the Catholic Church is in no way the same thing as a
so if the Catholic Church excommunicates somebody, are you saying that what they're doing...
Why do they excommunicate?
Let me finish.
Hold on. That's an extremely
Holy
important
fuck,
question.
we're getting...
Stop.
Okay, make a final point, and I'm moving
I'll
on.
make it quick.
Okay.
If you make an excommunication, why is it that they're not turning their back on their children?
Okay, an excommunication at an apostolic level of the Catholic Church is about godless fools. It's about
Not always.
Pharisees. That is why the Eastern Orthodox was removed. They broke up with
They
you
didn't-
because they
no, the
thought
other
that
way.
you got
It was the other way
I know
around.
you guys broke up with us after, but that's just not true. The reason that they were
Wait, you're a
excommunicated.
Catholic?
I'm not a Catholic, but I'm
Yeah, come on,
theologically
you're not a Catholic.
Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm more Catholic than I am Eastern
Okay,
Orthodox.
20 seconds,
The reason
go.
that churches excommunicate is because they're violating the nature of God himself, not because they're doing a sin that they dislike. It's extremely different, and these types of sins, like blaspheming the Holy Spirit, is in no way comparable to moral sins or virtue sins, which maybe OnlyFans is moral sins, or maybe it's a virtue sin. I'm not sure where it falls specifically, but acting like the church can excommunicate so parents can excommunicate their children is a bastardization of why the Catholic Church does this in the first place.
So let's look at this logically to what you're saying, not what the distinctions in the reasoning are. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to respond. What the distinction in the reasonings are. Let's look at this from a holistic. You claimed, listen, because Jesus Christ said thing X, it's not proper for you to then say, nope, I'll walk away from this. But it is proper for the Catholic Church to do the same thing under the same circumstances. And your only claim to this is to say that they rejected that they rejected Christ. So the same thing happens exactly
sin is
here.
not rejecting Christ.
Oh, it
You
can
know
be
that.
rejecting Christ.
Yes, blaspheming the Holy Spirit.
But here's the thing.
What the Pharisees did was bad enough. These are disanalogous, and you're being dishonest.
No, that's not. They're not disanalogous.
Yes,
This is your logic.
No, this is the logic of
You guys
all of the
can-
theology.
No, it's just your logic.
of the
Okay.
Catholic
Here, wait,